I get one goddamn piece of clarity, I wouldn't have to do this job, guys. I mean, honest to goodness, there should not be a space for me here. I'm a fighter. I'm now retired. My days would be filled if I just have a thirst for this business. I just didn't learn anything else and I got to just stay in it. It's one of those things, and a lot of people are that way. I'm one of them. I still coach at the same high school that I went to school at 30 years ago. The principals and all the teachers and students are gone. They've even knocked the building down twice. I'm still there. That's weird. That's weird. You got to grow up. You got to leave the nest. But I didn't learn other sports. I only know wrestling. And I'm not a fan of a whole bunch of places. I'm a fan of West Lynn, so here I am. But when I left MMA, I should not be over here on YouTube with the largest audience out there moving my window shade. I really should not. I don't do interviews. I don't fact find. I don't show up to press conferences. But if the people that did could do even a moderately good job, I wouldn't have this position. I wouldn't be sitting here coming to you guys each day. So Islam is going to fight Charles Oliveira. Why? Answer the question. Go ahead. Because at one point they weren't going to fight. And they even weren't going to fight because Joe Rogan said. I mean, you guys remember this day? Dana White was not going to make this fight because No, I apologize. It was supposed to be Benny DeRouche versus Islam Makhachev. Joe Rogan said don't make it. And they didn't make it. They moved somewhere else. That is headline-worthy news. But of course, no media member has asked the follow-up question and we don't have it. Now, why is Oliveira fighting Makhachev? Simple question. I'm not trying to trick you. I just know that your answer is because he's defending his championship against the number one contender who's won 7 in a row. Charles is not the champion. So he's not defending anything. He's not giving Islam an opportunity. They are on absolute equal footing here. Why are these two going to fight? Why is Charles Oliveira, who is responsible for the largest pay-per-view of 2022, publicly reported by Forbes and nobody disputed it? Why is Charles Oliveira fighting a guy who has never moved a pay-per-view before? Who has never been tasked with a co-main or a feature bout on a pay-per-view? Why are these two going to go out there and compete now? Sometimes you just got to do that. Sometimes you just got to follow the integrity of the rankings. Sometimes you got to look at a guy in Makhachev who has the blessing of Khabib, the division's king, who has won 8 fights in a row, who is stopping, who's just done everything right. Sometimes you've got to recognize that. I can live with that. But why would we? Our job is to promote a fight. The absolute biggest piece to ever associate itself with Charles Oliveira versus Islam Makhachev was a belief backed up by Coach Javier Mendez that if Oliveira beats Makhachev, Khabib will come out and avenge the loss. Without question. Your number one headline in that whole thing is going to be that. That is the coal miner's glove on top of the ring. That is the cherry on the sundae. That is the biggest story. That's not out there. Nobody's got confirmation. Khabib is readily accessible. Islam is doing media. Coach Javier is possibly the nicest coach in terms of responding to media that this sport has. They have not locked this down, but they also have not attempted to lock this down. There's a press conference with Dana White as early as this morning where 1 million questions were asked of him, including about Top Ramen Jr. versus Logan Paul's brother. Nobody asked him if Charles negotiated that Khabib step in and avenge the loss to Makhachev that Oliveira has promised us he's going to get. I can't figure that out, guys. So I roll in here about 3 miles from my house. I'll make more money than all of you. And I cut the shortest day ever with the numbers sitting over there to your left. I'm not being a dick about it. But how could you be at a press conference? How could you have that as your job? How do you have Khabib on your Rolodex? How do you not ask these questions? They're very simple. If no, that caveat has never been put on this negotiation, we have nothing to talk about. If it has, we need to tell the world. If that caveat has not been put on there, but it was offered to McGregor, it was straight up publicly by Khabib offered to McGregor. Hey, Conor, come fight Islam. If you win, I will come back and fight you. Okay, great. It was good enough for McGregor. Good enough for an Irishman without a championship who doesn't have a license that's on the injury list. Charles couldn't work that in? Charles Oliveira, the largest pay-per-view draw of 2022, the most recent champion, the current number one contender, a main event of a pay-per-view pending this summer, could not negotiate that in? He couldn't get the same deal, huh? I would then have to wonder why. How did that look? Did Khabib say no? Because I haven't heard that anywhere. No, Khabib didn't say no, did he? No. Charles and his team didn't ask for it, did they? They're not even aware that Khabib made that offer to Conor, are they? They didn't even think to ask for it. Now, I told them about it a few weeks ago, and I must credit one of the coaches in there. One of the coaches grabbed onto old Chael's piece, asked them to put forth. Media never grabbed on. Media never did the job. All of a sudden, Charles has signed the contract. He left the single golden nugget, the single greatest piece out of it. And I know some of you are going to say, no, Chael, that's not what's most important. What's most important is defending his championship. He doesn't have a championship. Stop telling me that. He does not have a championship. Please don't bring that to me anymore. I'm all for promotion. I don't want to live in Stupidville. Charles is not the champion. Charles is not defending. Charles has not done a favor to Makhachev. Okay? That title is vacated. And we can take two guys that fog a mirror any way we want to do it and put them in there and say that it's for the belt. That's what we can do. There was discussion that Khabib would put his name on this to get Islam the opportunity. That was a discussion. Who let that go? What side did not think to come at... Khabib's the most honorable guy in the sport. We have some pretty good guys in the sport. In all fairness, I'm rather proud of our sport. Compared to other dirtbag professional sports, we get some pretty solid guys. Khabib's number one. It's just the truth, guys. If Khabib says it, it's done. That's it. That's it. Don't ever think about it again. Don't think you got to get it written down. Don't think you got to get it notarized. Don't wonder if he was out drinking one night or if he stayed up a little too late. Don't wonder if he was joking. If Khabib says it, it's done. But Khabib never said it for Charles. He didn't say it for Charles because he wasn't asked to say it. Charles didn't force him to say it. Charles was holding strong in the public. He wasn't going to go to Abu Dhabi. He wasn't going to put up with those judges. All of a sudden, he grabbed a paper and he signed for it, leaving out a negotiation, an even suggestion of the single biggest thing for this fight, of which is not a title defense. Why? And why am I the one bringing that to you? This isn't my job.